Good evening is gray matter. Yeah, I'm a little late on this shit simply because I have a job. Let's just be blunt here. If I did not have to work a damn job, I'd be able to report, do videos whenever the fuck I feel like it, but no. I'm finding out that there was another assassination attempt on Trump's life. Yes, it was an assassination attempt. Fuck what the news is talking about. They caught this man in the bushes, like the barrel of his rifle pointing out the bushes. Everyone's asking the question, how do you know Trump was going to be there? This could have been an inside job, etc. I don't know, but some people are finding this man because apparently this guy's information was scrubbed off of Facebook and Twitter apparently, so all his social media is deleted. But we come to find out that this dude was a liberal lunatic who was also a Ukraine sympathizer, but I'm not finna even go deep into that video. I know the Doctor of Common Sense has went over this. I don't think I've ever mentioned him on my channel here. I think I mentioned him on my own Facebook, and that was during the COVID era. But I'm just going to go deep into this. I also was looking at like the deadlines of when you'll be able to run, essentially. What's the deadline of getting your name on the ballot? Because Joe Biden here, he dropped out the race on July the 21st, and his running mate was Kamala. So this is well past the deadline for filing in all of these states. So my question is, how in the world is she gonna get her name on the ballot? Because Biden's name was on the ballot for a majority of the race, essentially. Like the latest I'm seeing in 2024 is March. And this is only in some states. Other states have already had their shit set. They're already setting up and ready to go for voting. So, is she even really running for president? I don't know, man. The more I look into this shit, the more it just looks like one fucking giant movie. Well, I mean, it kind of is. We have Russia threatening nuclear war, which is the scare event that we need, really, in all honesty. I was saying it was a bunch of war propaganda anyway, but everybody's all sucked into legacy media, news, and everything that they see on the fucking internet, so I'm not even gonna go deep into that shit. Let me tell you the reason why they want Trump dead. And we already know this. I went into this in the past. He got rid of the old corporation. We're no longer in the old corporation. We are a country again. We are now the United States, the constitutional republic that we always were. Until, some signatures was made years ago. And we were indebted to the Queen. They keep telling you this shit is conspiracy theory, but it isn't. It's getting rid of taxes. The IRS is about to be done away with. I guarantee you they're going back to the gold standard. But we keep on looking at, oh no, they're going to vote for Kamala. All the women want Kamala in office. Y'all don't even know the damn policy that this bitch has. She lied like a motherfucker during that debate. Which is interesting because I was looking into this. This is it Brian or Brylan Riggs? It's whatever. He titled the video, Kamala wants to persecute Christians. Which, I mean, yeah. And of course, what do you think she's going to do? What do you think she's going to use to do it? She's going to use LGBTQ. That's what she's going to do. Fighting for the rights of the rainbow instead of people's constitutional right to, you know, worship who they want to. Instead, she's going to make you worship the LGBTQ. But I'm not going to tell you details. This man is going to tell you details. So let's just go through this. I've already stated the points I wanted to state about this whole situation. Let's just get into it.
You even see disturbing and disgusting videos like this. This is a cop admitting.
We're not finna go into this.
I'm gonna show you the number one thing that Kamala vowed to fight for that directly targets Christians. Hey, real quick, would you hit that thumbs up button?
Well, I mean, it doesn't just directly target Christians, it targets Muslims too. Anybody who disagrees with LGBTQ, they're going to, well, she's not going to have the power to do any of this shit. She's not going to be president. But if she were,
finally releases some of her policies after being installed as the Democratic nominee like 2 months ago. You know, ever since the coup, Kamala has literally the only thing that she's been able to run on, the only thing she's been able to talk about is taking life in the womb and protecting LGBT people, which are clearly the most pressing matters in our society today, since, you know, you can afford to buy groceries and gas and pay rent and, you know, provide for your children. But who cares about all that? Because we have a new way forward. That is literally what Kamala is calling her new policies, a new way forward. As if she hasn't been vice president for the last 4 years. And also remember this, Kamala says that she is literally the last person in the room whenever there are big decisions being made over the last 4 years. So yes, she is absolutely instrumental in everything that you're seeing in our country right now, but it's a new way forward. So
okay, are we going to get to reading this? I mean, it's no disrespect to this man, I'm just trying to
I'm not gonna read everything on this page, so you can go check out the page and read everything for yourself, which I highly encourage you to do. But the page and runs we're gonna go over,
is this in the description? If it is, I'm gonna find this and I'm going to put this in the description. Let's get back into it.
I'm not gonna read everything on this page, so you can go check out the page and read everything for yourself, which I highly encourage you to do. But in this video, I want to go over the things that are going to absolutely destroy America if this woman becomes the president of the United States. So she says, we're going to build an opportunity economy and lower costs for families. They haven't done that in the last 4 years. In fact, they've done quite the opposite. So I want you to check out how bizarre her policies start here. So she's going to cut taxes for the middle class families and make rent more affordable and home ownership more attainable, all at the same time. I want you to notice it says, unlike Trump, Vice President Kamala and Governor Awal are committed to ensuring no one earning less than $400,000 a year will pay more in taxes.
That targets, you're reading this, right? I hope you're reading along with this. But they're taxing people that make $400,000 a year. She's attacking the small business owners. That's what she's doing. And if anything that you learned from the COVID pandemic, small businesses are the backbone of American society. And she's essentially trying to price them out the game. In layman's terms,
they won't pay less, but they won't pay more. So they have no intention of trying to lower your taxes. They're just telling you that you won't pay more, which is a lie, by the way. And I'm going to show you why in just a second. They believe we need to chart a new way forward, as opposed to the last 4 years, which was the old new way. One way they're going to ensure that you don't pay more in taxes is causing you to pay more in taxes. In one way, she's going to make sure you don't pay more in taxes by paying more in taxes is to give everybody $25,000 to help with a down payment for buying a home for first-time homeowners. You're just going to get $25,000 that comes out of nowhere. This will absolutely destroy the middle class, but she boasts that it offers more Americans a path to the middle class and economic opportunity, which is an outright lie. This is the kind of thing that destroys economies. You can't just hand out free money. You can't just pass out $25,000 to everybody buying their first home and it not affect anybody.
Well, it's communism. That's literally all it is. You're just voting for communism. Take from the people that are making some money and give it to the rest. And what's crazy is that this is just middle class people getting robbed to pay for poorer people. Even though the middle class can barely afford shit as it is due to the high inflation, etc. As he's already stated, as many other people have stated, there's nothing new here. This is just a repeat. And there's one thing I know that happens whenever corporations are taxed. We're talking about the rich. I'm not talking about small businesses, but they may have to engage in these practices just to be able to keep up. When you tax the rich, they get that shit back in blood. Not literal blood, but they're going to make sure that your pockets feel it too. They're going to start charging. That's what they're going to do. They're going to charge you because they paid more. Same shit with when they raise minimum wage. They force you to pay, they force them to pay more, and then they force you to pay more because they had to pay more. That's how this shit works. But that's what y'all want, right? Trump is evil. I was seeing a rant from the angry man. Of course, I rock with everything that he was saying in this particular instance, especially when it comes to conservatism. The only issue I have is that he thinks that all of the young people are the well, he said boomers too, because I see a lot of boomers. I see Gen Xers that watch TV and do nothing but get all their information from TV and believe the lies that they were told. You have literal racist people. Joe Biden, who gave a eulogy at a Grand Wizard's funeral. A Grand Wizard of the KKK. You've heard this shit before. We heard about the 94 crime bill. Okay, we've talked about this shit before. But people seem to just brush off all of that and just ignore it. Which is why I said what I said in my previous videos, that people are just going to do whatever the fuck that they want to do. Now, it's not going to stop me from trying to convince you to make the right decision, but people are just NPCs. They're dumb as fuck. You're set in your ways. You want to call Trump a racist, but despite the fact that the man's clearly not racist, he's even funded black colleges, etc. But we don't want to talk about that. Like, Trump did more for the black community than any other president. Obama didn't do shit. But we don't care about that. We're going to vote for the two people that are responsible for locking up the most black men in history. And to top it off, I found out through Angry Man that Kamala Harris stole Nina Simone's estate from her family. That's something I need to really look into. Crazy, right? So if Kamala's a black woman, which she's not, but let's say she is, she just robbed another black woman. And these are the people you voting for. But whatever, let's keep going.
The money doesn't just come out of nowhere. But the way that this works is you give $25,000 to buy a home. Homes suddenly become $25,000, $50,000 more expensive.
Oh yeah, no. Off topic, another video. So I was listening to this shit while I was at work. I'm not even gonna lie. Fucking unloading trucks and shit while listening to this. We was discussing the black sheep of the family. And then we was listening to Angry Man at the same time. Angry Man calling the people that know the truth but still decide to follow the crowd because they're too damn afraid to set themselves apart. They don't want to deal with the uncomfortability. He called them cowards, which I agree with. But then on the other side, you have Anton telling his personal experience just being the black sheep. And it's real crazy because even listening to his mother on the phone call where she was talking about how bad Trump is, saying that Anton was a genius, but he lacked the balance, saying that he didn't have the common sense. But Anton, through his decisions in life, is rich, and his mom was working for him. So where the fuck does that line up at? If he's the crazy one who lacks the common sense, but he's the one who set himself apart from everything that his family was telling him to do, and by doing so was able to create a better life for himself, who's really the crazy one? Anton is conservative. He's voting for Trump. His family's voting for Kamala. Let that shit sink in. Maybe it's time you should just stop following the crowd and stop being scared to anybody that actually believes the shit that I'm talking about and many others. Now, to all the people who are set in their ways, you can just be set in your ways. I don't give a damn no more. I don't. I told y'all about the vaccines. Y'all still went and got the shit. Okay. I told y'all about BLM. You supported them, put the black squares in your shit, and turns out they robbed all the donation money they took and bought themselves some housing. They used the death of a black man to do so. Crazy, right? And then to come to find out, Floyd did have fentanyl in the system. Then I told people, do not vote for Joe Biden. Granted, the election was stolen. I'm just gonna be blunt. No one's gonna care about that though. For the people that did vote for him, I said, don't do that shit. You're not gonna like every hope and dream financially. They're gonna try to kill that shit. And sure enough, we already hated our jobs. Now we're really hating it because we can't even fucking eat off the damn jobs that we don't like working. You're getting your ass up. You're doing all this overtime and you're getting taxed out of this dimension. Just taxes everywhere. Taxes on your taxes on property taxes, food taxes, and then the IRS come in, snatch their share. You get paid back a certain amount, but if you owe student loans and shit, they just snatch that shit right out your check again. Like you ain't getting no fucking money. Just none. It's ridiculous. But y'all are still quiet about that shit, and y'all still dumb enough to vote for the same party and the same man that ruined our economy. I told y'all about this social media shit and how they're trying to censor the information that you need to know. Google's doing the same thing. Zuckerberg came out and fucking admitted to the shit. I ain't even have to pull the NIH papers, but I did anyway. The Department of Homeland Security, all of them, you get your information from there. The Sergeant General is now telling people not to take the vaccine. It's ridiculous. But you know who all these people was working for, right? The Biden administration. You know what BLM, who they was working for, right? George Soros and the Democrats, the Biden administration. That's where all the money is going. It's all going to the same spot. They kept it hidden about the Ukraine dealings that Joe Biden has. But this the reason why this war, I say that in quotes, is happening. Y'all feeding into the bullshit when really it has a lot to do with Joe Biden and what he was doing out in Ukraine. Shit is fucking ridiculous. But no one wants to pay attention to none of that. Just none. And then instead you just call me a crazy conspiracy theorist, which is just a form of gaslighting, as if nothing is going on. I even warned people about the LGBTQ as well, but no one believed me on that. And now you can't even enjoy a fucking video game without their propaganda being thrown in your face. Let's continue the video.
And everybody that's struggling to pay their rent and to pay their mortgage for their house that they already bought back when they could afford to own a home, you know, before Sleepy Joe and Kamala Harris. All those people who can barely afford to survive and keep their homes are now paying more to be able to fund everybody else getting $25,000 towards
the destruction of the middle class.
Even though they couldn't afford to buy that home without free money being given to them, when I say free, I mean you're paying for it, then after they slap that $25,000 down towards a house, they're just gonna magically be able to pay the mortgage after that too. Oh wait.
Yeah, and after this, it's not even just this, they wanted more fucking welfare too. We don't need more welfare. We need more opportunity. More ways to get money. Give me a way to get to the bag I'm trying to get easier. I wouldn't need no fucking food stamps. That's for the people that actually want to get it. That actually want to work. And when I say work, I'm not talking about your fucking job. I don't even want to work a job. I want to work for myself, my own business. That's what I want to do.
No, you're gonna pay for that as well. Another one of her policies is to take on bad actors and bring down costs. How's she gonna do this? She says, as Attorney General of California, Kamala took on the big banks to deliver for homeowners. Just lies. She's just lying, but people aren't gonna fact check anything. So it doesn't matter. She can get away with it. She says as president, she will direct her administration to crack down on anti-competitive practices that let big corporations jack up prices and undermine the competition that allows all businesses to thrive. She's going to do this by introducing communistic price gouging laws. You know, the kind that have never worked for any society ever. But listen to CNN rip Kamala on this.
It's not going to be supply and demand that's determining how much your grocery store charges you for milk or for eggs. It's going to be some bureaucrat in DC, which seems like totally unworkable, first of all. We've seen this kind of thing tried in lots of other countries before. Venezuela, Argentina, the Soviet Union, etc. It leads to shortages. It leads to black markets, plenty of uncertainty. And beyond that, the specific way this bill is written might actually increase prices. Really hard for me to imagine any form of legislation that preserves the spirit of what she's proposing.
Remember when she said that she presented her economic plan to experts and they were all for it? Remember that shit in the debate? Did you forget? See my other video. That
would not be, at best do nothing, at worst cause a lot of harm.
Now it also says that Harris will make affordable health care a right and not a privilege, which is not constitutional whatsoever, but I know it sounds good.
Okay, the problem with healthcare is that this shit is all a damn scam. If anything, it needs to be completely reworked. Like, you look into big food, big corporations, big pharma, etc. They promote eating habits that are bad for your health. They put a bunch of substances inside your food that are bad for your health, that cause obesity, heart problems, etc. Overloads in sugar, overloads in carbs. You know, they're promoting veganism, even though veganism is the most unhealthy diet you can possibly do aside from just junk food every fucking day. They want to ban meat. They want to get rid of cows. They want, you know, and they're using global warming or climate change as the catalyst for that shit. They want to fucking kill you, and then they want you on these damn drugs for the rest of your fucking life that they expect to only be 70. They want to do all of that, and then the treatments that they give you don't even deal with the root of the problem. It only remedies the symptoms, and even that, which they are giving you, doesn't even allow your body to heal properly. They're just creating customers. You're paying more and more and more to come back into the hospital. The very things that are actually going to help you and heal you permanently, that's the shit that they get swept under the rug. And then they teach these doctors the wrong thing in these schools. You gotta find out about true nutrition elsewhere. That's the problem. A lot of paid off doctors, a lot of fake false studies. They'll tell, like, for example, when they were saying that red meat causes cancer. No, it doesn't. It's an anecdotal study. Like, it's not trustworthy. And you find out that companies like fucking I forgot exactly which one. Was it Kellogg? No, it wasn't Kellogg's. Was it Grant? No, it wasn't Grant. It was one of these companies. It was a cereal company. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm sorry. You're just going to have to look that up for yourself. But these companies that are pushing all these high, you know, carb, high sugar products are the ones funding the research for nutrition. The shit is disgusting.
You want it to be the right thing because it hits you in the feel goods. But we've seen what happens when they do this kind of thing. You saw it with Obama and Obamacare. You saw it with the Affordable Care Act, which she's boasting about. They aren't actually doing what they say that they want to do. All they're doing is harming people by pretending that they can just throw healthcare out there as a free-for-all net to cover everybody and anybody for anything and everything.
And before we get into because you're going to be like, they don't know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. That's the scary part.
Never forget that she cast the tie-breaking vote to pass the Inflation Reduction Act, which was a scam and had nothing to do with lowering inflation. Never, ever forget.
You lower inflation by returning back to the gold-backed standard. Precious metals. That's how you reduce the inflation. Start making the American dollar mean something again. Remove the central banking system. Like,
get this. That it was Kamala that passed the tie-breaking vote that made everything more expensive and made your life harder to live. The Inflation Reduction Act was named the Inflation Reduction Act because if they named it what it actually was, you wouldn't have liked it so much. And that's because all this was a climate bill in disguise. In fact, watch Sleepy Joe himself admit that this bill was a disguise just the other day.
My investments, through my investments, the most significant climate change law ever. And by the way, it is a $369 billion bill. It's called we should have named it what it was, but at any rate.
And again, I can't stress this enough.
Oh yeah, I know this is old news, But the reason why we're going back is because she lied in the debate about what her policy is. We have to bring this shit back up. You don't even know her policy, you're just voting for her because you think she's black. Read up on what these people are trying to do to you.
It was Kamala that passed the tie-breaking vote for the Inflation Reduction Act that was actually literally a bill to increase inflation. But don't worry, this was a lie and she was the tie-breaking vote for it and everything, but everything else on her policies isn't a lie. She's not lying about anything else. It was just the inflation thingy. Again, now we get to the section where it says we're going to safeguard our fundamental freedoms. When they say things like this, they're literally meaning our, as in like them, not you, their fundamental freedoms to do whatever they want over you. Not the American people, our, but them, our. Or not the child in the womb, our. Because check this out. Again, radical, progressive ideologies here.
Before we get into this, remember, women practice eugenics. Let's just be blunt. A lot of great men and a lot of great engineers have died. Great innovators, great philosophers have died in the womb. You can't refute that.
Where they want to make it law to where you can take a child in the womb, you can take their life with no limits whatsoever. In fact, you saw Timmy AWOL do this in Minnesota, where he actually vetoed a bill that would have made it illegal to take the life of a child that had already been born. Can you believe that?
This is the shit Trump was talking about. But they tried to fact check him. Their fact check was wrong. Yes, they were trying to pass a law to make it to where you could abort children outside of the womb after they've been born. That was a thing.
It's disgusting. And of course, they want to protect civil rights and freedoms. This is just disguise talk for her literally saying right here, as president, she'll pass the Equality Act. I did a video on this. The Equality Act is literally just an anti-religious freedom law. All it has to do is taking the rights away from Christians in America. That's what it's all about. This isn't just about accepting LGB down here. You can see that this is an anti-discrimination protection for LGB. Oh gee, who'd ever thought that was coming? It's not just accepting it. If you don't celebrate LGB and promote LGB and uplift LGB above all, if you don't worship LGB, then you are a bigot. So you can't help but see how wonderful the irony is here when she has a section about safeguarding our fundamental freedoms. And then you go to the very next section and she talks about wanting to literally ban your firearms, take away your Second Amendment, which...
Once again, Trump was right. And yeah, we already know where this shit's gonna go dealing with the LGBTQ shit. You see what happened to people now that get canceled. What happens to their bank account, etc. Now imagine the government trying to strong arm that shit and make it a legal thing. Shit is disgusting. And now we're getting to the fucking gun control, etc. You know, they don't I don't know if I could even say his name because they love fucking censoring shit. Even though the man with the puny mustache on his lip, the soul patch on his lip, practically, that hated a specific demographic of people but worshipped another demographic. We already know what we're talking about. He lived in Germany. Yes, that man was elected. He didn't just take over. But this is the same shit he did. Now, he didn't use LGBTQ, but they for damn sure got rid of all the guns. There was no self-defense. And the people, because they were deceived, because this particular party that this man with the soul patch on his face, his upper lip, excuse me, did, was control the information. They controlled what people were allowed to know and what people were allowed to see to create this ideal, this idealistic view of this party. And sure enough, people started getting slaughtered because they were deceived. If I've articulated myself properly, you're going to forgive me. I'm tired as shit. But it is what it is. The same shit that happened in World War II. It is a fucking repeat. That's what we're in right now. It's a repeat of history. And people don't get it because they don't know history. You don't even study the shit. What they was telling you in school is lies. Yeah. Either that or they omitted a lot of truth that really helps capture the perspective of a lot of things. We talk about how sad it was and all the things that was done to people in history, but we don't ever talk about what got them there in the first place. A wise man learns from another man's errors. If we learn from the error of those before us, we will be able to push forward into a better future instead of repeating the mistakes that they made. But to keep you from doing that shit, they control what you're allowed to view and what you're allowed to read, etc. Why do you think this censorship shit is going on now? They want you dumb. They want you stupid. They want you physically weak and unable to defend or fend for yourself. They want you reliant on the government, and they want to take you out whenever the fuck they feel like doing it. When they're done with you, they want to get rid of you. This shit is controlled. There's nothing free about this shit. And the fact that America is getting to this point is ridiculous. Like, I'm not even afraid of this shit. I'm more like baffled at the stupidity, but that's beside the point.
Isn't the fundamental freedom, apparently. The next section is ensuring safety and justice for all. So under this section, she says she wants to make our community safer from gun violence and crime, even though crime has spiked due to having like 20 to 30 million illegal immigrants in our country. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I'm ready for Trump to push out this mass deportation. Let's get this shit going, bro. Like you seeing it. They eating the ducks, they eating the geese. Your cats, your dogs. Yes, they're doing the shit. Trump was not crazy. This shit is actually happening. People are posting videos all over the internet about the shit. They running, heists on people, taking over apartment buildings, etc. It's time for a mass deportation. And ain't nothing wrong with that. You want to come in and do some paperwork and do it the legal way? Bet. But when you're here, you're going to have to follow the laws of America. Excuse me. I don't go into someone else's country trying to run shit. But here they are here, fucking up our way of life. It's time for mass deportation. We gonna run this shit and we gonna make memes about the shit. It's gonna be funny too. That have been wreaking havoc on people, absolutely destroying our economy, what little is left of it, and also the crime rate, violent crime rate, is through the roof. And on top of that, they want to let in violent illegal criminals and then take your guns away so that you can't protect yourself. It ain't even the illegals that I'm worried about. Like, every government that has removed the citizens' ability to protect themselves
immediately pounced on the opportunity for absolute control. And shit got violent. And when I say violent, I mean genocidal violent. Specifically on the demographic that was hated the most. I see a lot of hatred for Christians. Maybe that's why he has this title up.
What's funny is that she boasts, you can't make this up, she boasts about investing $15 billion in supporting local law enforcement and community safety programs across 1,000 cities, towns, and counties.
You know, for far too long, the status quo thinking has been to believe that by putting...
Have you ever thought that the person... Never mind. Not the person. Whenever Kamala appears on camera, you ever wonder if it was like a mask or not? I'm just wondering.
Police on the street, you're gonna have more safety, and that's just wrong.
Does that mean you support proposals like what we've seen in Los Angeles, Mayor Eric Garcetti saying, take some of the money from policing, about $150 million?
I applaud Eric Garcetti for doing what he's done. It is outdated, it is wrong-headed thinking to think that the only way you're gonna get communities to be safe is to put more police officers on the street. We have to reimagine public safety and how we do public safety in our country.
One local radio show asked then Senator Kamala Harris where she stood on the defund the police movement.
Defund the police. The issue behind it is that we need to reimagine how we are creating safety.
So I don't know how you defund the police and also invest $15 billion in supporting local law enforcement. She will...
Because she's a fucking liar.
Ban assault weapons in high-capacity magazines.
I hate the term assault weapons because assault is something that you do. A weapon could be anything that you use to assault somebody. Then they said in high capacity magazines. What's a high capacity? 10, 20, like wait, what? Anything, that could be anything that holds a mag.
Universal background checks and support red flag laws that keep guns out of the hands of dangerous people. You know, they love to talk.
Yeah, dangerous people. You, the militia, the American people. You're dangerous to their government because their government is corrupt. There, I fixed it for you. They ain't talking about criminals. Criminals have illegal firearms all day, every day. And they love using that shit on civilians. Well, you think they gonna go after criminals? After they was releasing violent criminals from prison and letting them roam the streets in 2020? Like, really think about the shit. Use your brain. Like, get all of that fat in your head to work.
Talk about how, you know, this whole thing with universal background checks and all that. Background checks are a thing. Everybody has to do one in order to purchase a firearm. This is all smoke and mirrors. But what you don't want to miss here is that she is telling you that she is going to ban assault weapons. And what she means is that she will use her power as president to implement things like buyback programs, to take away your ARs. And if you don't submit, you will pay a price, a penalty, most likely up to and including your life. And
well, I mean, this is a bitch that was throwing people in prison, innocent men, black men, but innocent. I know. Because let's be real, all you niggas out there talking about Kamala Harris, I'm gonna vote for her because she's a black woman. That black woman gonna make sure your ass end up in prison for life. You had no problem doing it back then, and now if say she were to become president, she's gonna do everything in her power to make sure that your black ass goes to prison for life just because you own a firearm. and everybody else too, because that's not even a law specifically for just one particular race. That's for everybody. Where the fuck you think they gonna go first to go try to enforce this shit? And then if the people are like, no, we're not having that, that's gonna start a civil war. Like the shit is there's so many ways this shit could go bad.
One way or another. In fact, listen to Kamala say it herself.
I'm prepared to take executive action and put in place a ban on the importation of assault weapons into our country. But we still have to deal with the over 2 million assault weapons that are currently in the streets of America. And so a
boo this woman.
buyback program is a good idea. And if Congress fails to act, I'll give them 100 days to put a bill on my desk for signature. And if they do not do it, I will put in place by executive action a comprehensive background check requirement and a ban on the assault weapons and the importation of assault weapons into our country. I'm done. And that's
so she's going to use her executive power to violate constitutional law. That's who y'all want to vote for, because she's black.
Why we will work to pass universal background checks, red flag laws, and an assault weapons ban.
And then listen to how she boasts about how Australia did the right thing and we should be more like Australia.
Gun violence.
We do not want to be like Australia. I'm not even finna get into this shit. Oh my gosh. Like, yeah, she's not going to be president, but just listening to this shit, because you know this is what they want. That's the fucking problem. And then they still making attempts on Trump's life. I'm telling you now, these two times that got televised are not the only 2 times they tried to kill Trump. I'm just gonna be blunt here. They've been gunning for President Trump's life since he's done his campaign back in 2016. He is a threat to their New World Order agenda. And his presence and all the laws he's passing is bringing America back to what it was before the land and us as people were sold out. We're no longer property of the state. We're no longer fucking a corporation. We're not that anymore. We are now, we were and are again a constitutional republic. That's what Trump was doing. They don't want that. They want control. Full control. Because these motherfuckers want to play God over your life. And because of all the propaganda and all the psyops and shit, they got y'all minds twisted to the point where the people that are actually showing you the truth are the people you attack, even though we here to help you out. It is what it is. And then of course people brought up Lyndon B. Johnson. Have you niggas voting Democrat for the next 300 years, and according to Angry Man, because he was the one who brought it up, we're 50 years in. Crazy, right? Because there's people that will just vote Democrat for the sake of voting Democrat, and it's primarily people of darker skin tone. I see young folk that blindly follow the media and believe that Trump is a problem because he's a racist, and I say that with huge air quotes. I'm seeing Gen Xers do the shit. I'm seeing boomers do the shit. I'm seeing it all over. I'm not even finna sit here and try to have this war on which generation is best. We all fucked up and need some help. And we all on this sinking ship together. Maybe we can plug some holes up, get to shore, and build the boat better if we work together. That sounded fucking corny as shit, but you get what I'm saying. Just listen. Just fucking listen. And I'm gonna put this video in the description too, where the doctor of common sense dissects the person who was trying to assassinate Trump. This is not, it wasn't gun violence like what Fox News was saying. It wasn't any of that shit. I'm gonna leave it at that. I might come out with a new video. I'm off tomorrow, but best believe I'm gonna use that day to get me some fucking sleep. Peace.